Let's consider now an interesting interference phenomena that happens when we have a thin film of transparent material and reflection of light from two parallel or almost parallel surfaces. Consider a thin film of dielectric of index of refraction m'. Rays of light from a point source of light will be reflected at its first surface, but also at its second surface. Because of refraction, two different rays coming from the source S will reach point P. At P, these two rays will interfere. This is called a piezo-interferometer. Here, N1' is perpendicular to the ray BC, and N2 is perpendicular to the ray CD. N1 and N2' would be the extensions of rays A to P and S to A, respectively. The path difference between both rays of light that leave S and end at P is given by delta S. Here we consider that the longest ray path is partly inside the dielectric of index of refraction N'. Looking at these two portions of the paths, we can see that the path from S to A is approximately equal to the path from S to B plus the path from B to N1. From this other end, here we can also see that the path from A to P is approximately equal to the path from N2 to D plus the path from D to P. Back to the equation for the path difference, we can use these two approximate results to simplify it. From the first one, we group these two terms, and from the second one, we group these two terms. So we can simplify delta S as now, using this path inside the dielectric, we have that the whole path from B to C is equal to the path from B to N1 plus the path from N1 to Z. Same happens in this side of the path inside the dielectric. Path from C to D is equal to path from C to N2 plus path from N2 to D. With this, we simplify the path difference equation as M' N1D plus C N2. Looking now at this, we can say that path from N1 to C plus path from C to N2 is approximately equal to path from M'1 to C plus path from C to N2', sorry. So I can pay attention to these two equal right triangles. From where I can write that the cosine of theta is distance from N1' to C over H, where H is the thickness of the dielectric. Same for the other right triangle. This result of the cosine of theta can be used back in the path difference equation to write it as 2m' h cosine of theta. This is the path difference between both rays that leave S and reach P, because the path difference between both rays is 2 pi over lambda times the path difference. We can write the phase difference, delta, as 4 pi over lambda m' h cosine of theta. So there will be a phase difference between both rays that leave the same point source of light and reach the same point P. We know that depending on the phase difference, we will have constructive or destructive interference at P. Remember that the total intensity at P will be the intensity of path 1 plus the intensity of path 2 plus 2 times the square root of I1 times I2. We will have maximum intensity when delta is 0 plus or minus 2 pi plus or minus 4 pi, and so on. Using these two results, we can combine them as lambda m plus or minus 1/2 equal to 2m prime h cosine of theta. That will be maximum for m being an integer number and will be minimum for m being 1/2 of an odd number. If we have the point source vertically placed with respect to the thin film, the cosine of theta is the cosine of 0, which is 1. And this simplifies as, which for destructive interference, that is, for dark fringes, so we have found a relationship between the dark fringes in VSO interference, the index of refraction of the thin film, and the wavelength of the light. We can have the case where the thin film is filled with air that would be made by two very thin films of other material that allows light to be reflected off from both. Let's now look at a similar kind of interference, this now known as Newton's rings. Consider a convex spherical lens. We are going to study the air film in the region between the convex spherical lens and a plain glass surface in contact with the spherical lens. Let's look at the distance from the glass surface and the lens at distance r from the contact point. The distance from the glass surface and the spherical lens at r is h. Looking at this right triangle of the hypotenuse being capital R and the small leg of the triangle being lowercase r, the distance h is equal to capital R minus the long leg of the right triangle, which happens to be, following Pythagoras' theorem, the square root of capital R squared minus lowercase r squared. I can rearrange this into and then expand in series of Taylor. If I truncate that second order in r over r, h is r squared over 2 capital R. Now I can use the result from Fizeau interferometer for dark fringes. Make the height h equal and m lambda over 2 m prime equal to r squared over 2 capital R. But because here the gap is filled with air, m prime is 1, so the radius of the dark fringe or dark ring is square root of mr lambda. So by measuring the radius of Newton's rings, knowing the radius of curvature of the convex lens, we can determine the wavelength of the light being used. This is an actual picture of Newton's rings. Remember that for these, we consider normal illumination. So as you can see, there is plenty of interference all around us. May science be with you.